All right, although I don't think it's time to let you share your feelings with your wife, some of you will feel like you need to. Maybe you're being completely disrespected or whatever. Now, the reason why I think it can still be positive for you is remember, the whole point of the reset is to build you into this big, bad race car and get her to run into the side of your car. Using feelings, you can actually do that a lot. Now, what I want you to understand is most women by nature are empathetic, loving, nurturing creatures. That's just how it rolls. So, what we're going to find is that we can use this safe environment that we're creating to rebuild the intimacy in our marriage and allow her to emotionally connect with you by using your feelings. But be careful. You can't just start expressing your feelings if you've never expressed your feelings ever before, you've been hiding them for years or whatever the case is. Then what'll happen is when you express them, she's probably going to safe react. Likewise, flip side is if you have been angrily puking your feelings all over your wife or saying my needs are important and you give all these reasons why she's at fault or however these conversations went, well, you're more than likely for sure going to get a safe reaction from your wife, in which case we're not really there yet. So I don't mind if you want to share your feelings. In fact, I think it's great when she runs in the side of your car. That's the point of the reset. But the problem, Lord, is that if you are not in control of you, stat responses as a man in power, leading your wife and loving her through it, then you're not ready to share your feelings because it can start out wonderfully where you're sharing your feelings. And then right away, you can start dipping into the safe reaction in response to her safe reaction, meaning you're just still reacting. We got to stop that. So make sure you're ready to have her run in the side of your car. The goal is to get her to become her natural self, become empathetic, loving, nurturing. When you are validated for your feelings, you can provide structure and move the marriage in the next direction. But that's not always the case because if she's still safe reacting, she's not loving you through it yet. Let's run through some examples and we'll see how we can make this look. Before I do that, I'll tell you, the formula is simple. Undisputable fact. Your feelings only. Empathy there, check. Okay, provide structure. That's it. We're not going to talk and talk and talk. We're going to let the conversation happen. Let's say she undermined you in front of your friends. That's a tough one. You feel pretty disrespected, right? You feel pretty ugly with yourself, like you got a wife that just should love you more and all these other rampant feelings. Well, we're not going to puke all of our feelings over our wife. We're going to keep this simple and concise and allow her to be into her natural state when she's ready and feeling unapologetically herself. She'll fall into that. So let's try it out. Hey, babe, when you contradict the details of my story when I'm telling our friends and kind of undermine me, I feel disrespected and unloved. That's it. Simple. You give the feeling. You tell her what it is. And that's all. Now she loses it with a safe reaction. You just simply go to your stat responses and carry on. She's not ready for structure yet. She's not going to listen to you anyway. She's protecting herself in survival mode. So what do? Then we wait for the empathy for the next instance and the next instance until we start seeing the empathy. And when we get that, her natural state, she says, geez, babe, I never even thought about how that would make you feel. Of course that feels terrible. To be disrespected, to be unloved. No, babe, I love you so much. All right, we have the opening. Run in there with structure. Babe, thank you so much. I appreciate you just understanding where I'm coming from. Would it be cool if we spent a lot of time focusing on building each other up, supporting the details in this story? That's it. You get the agreement and you make a plan. That doesn't mean she'll be perfect or you'll be perfect, but you'll keep moving forward based on the agreement. But now you have something that's undisputable to go back to again. All right, assuming that your wife is not having an affair that we know of, you're just insecure. We're going to roll with that. Hey, babe, when you're on your phone when we're hanging out, I feel really insecure. I'm just nervous about where we're at right now. That's it. Now, when your wife starts to throw out her safe reaction, you're going to go back to stat response. But when she starts to love you through it, you say, thank you, babe. I appreciate you just understanding my perspective. Provide the structure. Would it be cool if when we spent our time together, we just turned the phones off or checked it only when we needed to look at the map or whatever? That's it. Carry on with the wonderful experience of hanging out together. Now, here's a common one because a lot of you guys come to me when you are going to therapy already, or at some point, because your wife doesn't know you're in the program, you go to therapy. Or let's say, hey, your wife is in Catherine's program. It sucks when you're putting in the effort and you know for sure that she's not doing the work. Now, you must know for sure. All right. So you could say something like, hey, babe, when we leave a therapy session and we have all the homework assignments and you don't do it, I feel like I'm doing this all alone. I'm lonely. I'm scared for our future. Truly share how you feel. That's it. Now, if she safe reacts, if she starts coming at you, you simply go back to stat response. But when she shows you the empathy, you just provide the structure. That's awesome. Thank you for understanding my perspective, honey. Would it be cool is if we set an hour aside each week, we work separately but together and just get this done, hold each other accountable? She'll say yes, and you'll move on. Now, when your wife's in a bad mood, now you might not know if it's your fault, if it's not your fault, it really doesn't matter. One of the big things that men do wrong is they always go, what's wrong? What's wrong? And you really come across as that desperate, needy man. Now, this will not always work in the moment. It's sometimes you're going to have to wait until she's a little bit more calm. She's a little bit going to be able to be in a more reflective state before we start to share our feelings. However, I've pulled Catherine out of many bad moods doing something along the lines of, hey, babe, when you're frustrated, you're short with the kids, you're a little snippy and mumbling things under your breath, I feel frustrated. That's it. You don't go on and on. You don't puke your feelings all over her. And remember, we're trying to wait to see if she will love us through it. Yeah, you're right, babe. I'm sorry. When I'm frustrated, it makes you frustrated. I can totally see that. And when you get that, then we're going to provide the structure. Hey, babe, no worries. Do you want to talk about it? Is there anything that's repeating here that we need to go through? The important thing here is quite often, if she's in a bad mood, you're not going to get that. So you got to reflect and you got to pay attention, read the room, and be ready for stat responses. But at the same time, if you can share your feelings quite simply, then it's quite obvious. I mean, when people are rubbing off on us the wrong way because they're frustrated, then obviously it's going to make us frustrated too. And although I think it's your responsibility to maintain the yes tone, at the same time, of course, we have a partner ultimately that we can do this together with. So follow this quite simply as something she cannot dispute, your true feelings, keeping it simple, and then when she shows empathy, you go ahead and provide some structure in a curious way.